A giant cocoon hangs in the woods, and on closer inspection, there's a dead body wrapped inside. The police were called to the scene and tried to get the body out, but when they scratched it with a knife, there was a crash car right underneath the body. The police saw blood on the seat, and when they cut it open, the interior was soaked with blood. They saw that the car was in neutral, so someone pushed the car down on purpose, then hit a boulder, and the person was thrown into the tree by inertia. The killer did all this to make it look like the victim died in a car accident. They brought this giant cocoon back to the police station, and through the cocoon, they could tell that the victim was a white male, and that because the worms were in their reproductive phase, that's why the victim was wrapped up in the worms as if he were a meal. Through some of the newborn larvae, we can judge that the time of death of the deceased should be 5 days ago. And to find out his identity, we must first get rid of these worms. The male police officers was afraid of worms, so he gave this task to the young lady. The young lady could not help, so she caught a few chickens from outside. After they had a full meal, the police finally saw the face of the dead man. After comparing, the dead man was confirmed to be an archaeological writer, published a lot of archaeological books. Then the police called his wife. The woman said that her husband had gone to the forest 5 days ago to archaeology alone, and then lost contact, and said that her husband had collected several mysterious old antiques before he left, and since then he has been in a very high mood. The woman gave the police the key to the room where the antiques were kept, a dimly lit secret room with all sorts of strange antiques. A strange policewoman picks one up and chews on it, confusing the policeman next to her, who says she's testing whether it's a human bone or an animal bone, because human bones have holes in them that can be absorbed on the tongue. It turns out that these bones are indeed from human beings. After testing, they found that these bones are actually from ancient humans. This should be the deceased's wife, said the deceased collection of mysterious bones. As an archaeological writer, he found the ancient people. He would want to come out with a book of this series. So, the police found the publisher of the deceased's previous books, and the woman owner said that when he saw the deceased for the last time, the deceased only said that he had new archaeological research and was planning to publish a new book, and then he disappeared. When the case was at a standstill, the forensic pathologist made a discovery. They saw whip marks on the body of the deceased, took out an animal's hair from the wounds, and found that the hair came from a rare breed of Russian cattle. And this kind of cattle's fur is often used for whips. And thinking that the wife of the deceased was Russian, the police once again found a woman to investigate the truth. The woman said that the whip marks on her husband's body were all caused by her father, because her family did not allow her to marry a foreigner. So her father beat them up and expelled them from the family. The woman followed the deceased to the United States, and now her husband died for no apparent reason, and the woman does not know where she should go from here. On the other hand, the forensic pathologist pieced together a complete skeleton. The bones of the deceased were all neatly arranged. Forensic pathologists found marks on his shoulders, and theorized that the victim had been attacked from behind and had turned around to fight back. At the same time, the murderer attacked his other side again. The murder weapon slid down his shoulder, cut the aorta, bled to death, and was put in the car to fake the scene of the accident. The police then found a fiber in the shoulder wound, which is usually used for bookbinding threads, which means that the murderer was working with books. Immediately thinking of the female publisher, the police went back to the woman's house and used a highlighter to detect scattered bloodstains on the floor, which she hadn't had time to clean after the murder, but which the woman stubbornly claimed had been left on the floor by her period. Another policeman found a stapler on the bookshelf. The shape matched the wounds on the body of the deceased, and there were to such stapler, but now only one was found. The evidence was overwhelming, and the woman could no longer deny it. It turns out that the dead man had made a major archaeological discovery, and then approached the female publisher to cancel her contract because he had found a more powerful publisher. The woman was indignant. The deceased had not made any achievements in archaeology for many years, and she had never disliked him. Now that he has made a major discovery, he kicks out the man who helped him, and the woman is so angry that she kills the ungrateful man.